Issue 62, Stormbringer magazine, another paint issue, but also it's highlighting the technique of highlighting. Hello and welcome to The Lucky Roll, an eclectic channel for eclectic games, and today we're going to be doing issue 62 of our continuing series of Hachette Collection's Stormbringer magazine. Now this magazine comes with two new paints, the White Scar paint, which is a layer paint, and Sybarite Green, which is quite an interesting little green paint actually that I've been using on my Tyranids of late. But nevertheless, because it's a paint issue, there is going to be some interesting lore in it, but also kind of a more elaborate paint guide. Now, this is a new section called Terrors, which is written in the first person by a man called Herman Splott, who is basically doing a kind of a clinical analysis of the Oruks. So he goes into things like, say, that their minds have been concerned entirely by fighting, and that the diet is basically horrific, that if any researcher tries to try it themselves, they'll get horrendously sick. So that's a new kind of section in the magazine. So the Terrors could be a kind of an interesting one to read. You have here the Crusade, so you've got the Crusade goals here, and you've got the Wa goals for the War Clan. And you have here the paint guide. So it does give you kind of different little aspects, such as tinning paint and highlighting and using the side and the tip of the brush and kind of getting nice little details here onto your figures, such as layering. So again, if you're new to the whole thing, a nice little interesting way to do it. You have here more how to paint guide and going into some of the old models. You have some destruction tactics for the sneaky snuffers, which we had seen a few little bits ago, and the Squig Herd again, which I think we saw back in issue 57. And we have here the Flame and Fury, Ashes battle plan. So again, some interesting little stuff here, and a kind of a nice little paint resupply. So just to give you a heads up, I'm a big fan of Warhammer and of Citadel and of Gameworks Workshop, but I do honestly find their white paints to be adequate at best. They're not the best. I find them quite difficult to work with, so I'm never really been a big fan. But White Scar, nevertheless, is a good, very clear, very strong white paint, but it's most certainly not a base. If you were to paint something white, I would use an off grey colour, such as Celestra Grey or possibly Grey Seer, and then maybe at the edges kind of touch it up with things like White Scar to give the white effect. But there are other better paints out there for white, but nevertheless, this is a layer paint. This is something to kind of put on the tips and the edges of things, but again, that's just me complaining about Citadel Workshop's White Scar. This paint, however, is actually quite good. I'm using this one as a kind of a layer for Lupercal Green on my Tyranids. I'm kind of doing a dark green type of thing, but this has actually served as a nice little kind of highlight. It looks a bit brighter here, but it comes out a tad darker, especially on something that's been primed black, and is quite a nice little off shade green that is quite good for highlighting. But nevertheless, those are the two paints you get with issue 62 of Stormbringer magazine. As always, if you enjoyed these videos, please like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff, and until next time, good luck, God bless, and stay safe.